welcome to this week's live stream where we're going to be talking about really like how to respond when a hiring manager says, what's your fee? Again, if you're watching live, I'm not even sure if it's working or streaming properly at the moment. If you are watching live, if you can just give us a like or sorry, in the comments, write live. If you're watching the replay, type replay as well and let us know that everything's working properly. I'm going to try and look on my phone as well to check. Okay, cool. Looks like we're live. Awesome. Perfect. So hello and welcome. Terry, can you just check the mic, make sure people can hear you as well?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello and welcome to this live training. Just if we get into it, Drew, just to remind you, if you listen to this, whether it's live or the replay, we do these trainings every week. Every week at 3 o'clock on a Wednesday, we do these live training. If you're an owner or a director of a recruitment search firm, and you want to get more business, if you want to get higher fees, if you want to win work on a retained basis, if you sick and tired of maybe of cold calling and begging for business, or you've been hit by the pandemic and your business is struggling, or if you're really ambitious, you just want to double your sales in the next 12 months, come along to these. They're absolutely free. There's no cost, there's no obligation. This is what we do. We work with owners and directors of recruitment and search firms from around the world, and we share with them how to get more business but feel headaches. And as I say, we're here every Thursday at 1500 UK time. Yeah, join us every week. We're more than happy to share and to help you in any way that we can.
Awesome. Perfect. So look, let's jump into it. The reason we wanted to sort of talk about this topic or bring this topic up is because the question that we get asked quite a lot by the clients that we work with. So what will happen is, again, this may have happened to you where you've probably, you occasionally get maybe it's on LinkedIn, maybe it's via email, maybe it's when you're making business development calls and you occasionally speak to a prospect and they, before you've really pitched your service, before you've given any details about you or what you do or how you can help them, they're sort of asking a question, what's your fee, right at the beginning of the conversation. And again, I think it happens we get it sometimes as well, it happens in most service-based businesses. And although, from our point of view, although the fee is very important and, that's going to be obviously one of the things that the hiring manager or decision maker will make the decision on, it shouldn't, when you give your fee in the wrong way and at the wrong time, which is what we see the most people doing, you get boxed in as just another recruiter and treated like a commodity. And when you treat it like a commodity, that means that what happens is your fees get compared to your competitors or the recruiter down the road. And, they're not, the hiring manager doesn't really get to see the value that you bring to the table, the value that you can actually bring. Think about the candidates you place, the impact they can have on the business and on the individual's life. Like that gets completely overlooked. And instead they start comparing your fee versus someone else's fee, or your fee versus, what their perception is or what they used to pay. Terry, does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense. And all the evidence shows that from a hiring manager point of view, for the majority, I think it's about 60% of hiring managers, your fee or your price or the percentage that you charge is the fourth most important thing. Please note it's the fourth. It's not the most important thing. And I also, as Drew made a really good point there, if you're talking to a potential client and they say, what's your fee? And you say, well, our fee is 25%, and they say, I can get it for 22% down the road. As Drew rightly said, you're nothing but a commodity, because all they're going to do is say, your fee is this, let's see if I can beat that fee. By the way, one of the reasons why you shouldn't put your fees on your website, because again, you'll position yourself as a commodity. Here's our fees. If you can get better fees than that, that's fine. If these fees are competitive, let's talk. And I suspect for majority, and I'm going to stick my neck out and say probably 70% of recruiters, they don't want to be the cheapest recruiter. No, whoever wants to be the cheapest. And now I know there's a percentage that do, and they pride themselves on being the cheapest, but majority of recruiters, they don't want to be seen as the cheapest recruiter. And a client asking for your fees, it's early on in the relationship, it's almost irrelevant to the whole thing. And it's worth asking them some more questions before you actually answer that question. And we'll kind of go into some of the reasons why as we go along.
No, yeah, 100%. So I think, when, again, as Terry said, I think assuming that, your fee isn't your biggest selling point, right? So again, there's going to be some recruiters who pride themselves on having a low fee, and that's their biggest, that's their biggest selling point. And if that's you, then yeah, it makes sense to give your fee at an earlier stage, because that's the thing that people are going to be for your service. That's what people are going to be attracted to. But if your biggest selling point isn't actually your fee, and instead it's the candidates you place, the value that you can bring to an organization, then we don't really want to get talking about the fee until we can anchor it to the value that you provide, right? So to give you a quick scenario, let's say that and this is relevant on any salary, by the way, but just for the sake of my math here, let's say that we're talking about a 100k salary here, and whatever your local currency is, you've got your fee, let's say it's 25%, and you've got recruiter B, their fee's 20%. When you get asked the question, what's your fee? Hiring managers looking at the two, they're comparing your fee with the recruiter B, right? That's the only thing they have really to anchor to that fee. So instead of sort of getting in conversations about fees, what works for our clients, what works for us, what we encourage you to do is sort of, I guess, for want of a better word, lean out at that point. And instead of sort of diving in with your fee, just say something along the lines of, that depends, it depends. I'm not 100% sure that we're the right people to help. How about we jump on a call or set up a meeting so I can find out exactly what you're looking for? And if we can help and it makes sense for both of us, then we can talk about fees, right? So we want it to be the last thing that really is brought into the equation after we've had a chance to demonstrate the value that we can bring to the table, and I guess in financial terms, the impact that the right candidate will have on the firm, and I guess as well, like the impact and the wrong candidate might have on the firm as well. That's what we need to anchor your fee to, because if you're charging 25%, for example, on a 100k salary, but that candidate can go in and add multiples of that as they should, then your fee really becomes irrelevant, right? So we want to sort of remove it from the equation and make it the last thing that we talk about. That's what's working for our clients at the moment. So there's really, I want to jump into sort of the 4 of the things that we need to get clarity on.
Yeah, and just before you do, I just want to add to something you said there, Drew. Not only is it the value that you bring, but I think another question worth asking is, it's not only just about the value that you're going to bring to that hiring manager, but also, is this hiring manager right for your organization? Is this hiring manager right for the type of client? So it's right for the candidates that you want to put in front of them. So that's why it's not the be all and end all, because if, quite frankly, and we've all worked with clients and hiring managers who are nothing but a pain in the butt, then quite frankly, if the hiring manager says they're going to pay you 50%, you're probably going to say, I'd rather pull my own teeth out than work with you, because we've all worked with clients like that. If the client's values perhaps aren't aligned to yours, or say to some of your candidates as well, I'm going to go as far to say it's probably unethical, for you to be putting candidates in front of that organization if you actually believe in your heart of hearts that client isn't right for your candidates. Because not all clients are created equal. Some are going to be perfect for you, but not all are. Another reason why that right there at that stage of the conversation, early on in the conversation, the fee is almost irrelevant. And if you've got a hiring manager that says, well, no, it's not irrelevant, and I actually want the cheapest recruiter, then our recommendation with you is probably to walk away. If they're saying the be all and end all of this meeting and this conversation is if you can give me the lowest fee, I would really encourage you to walk away. There's more business out there where clients don't want the cheapest candidate, they want the best candidate, and that you're probably better off finding those type of candidates. So I just wanted to add that to what Drew said. It is about the value that you're going to bring to that organization, but also whether that organization is going to, or that hiring manager is going to be the right fit for you.
Yeah, 100%. So there's 4 things that you really should get clarity on, and that you want your potential clients to get clarity on before you enter the conversation discussing your fee. So number 1 is you need to make sure that you can actually help and you are the right person to help. So again, this goes back to what Terry was speaking about a bit earlier on. But if you imagine, well, look, your role as a recruitment consultant is to consult with the client. You're not meant to serve everybody. You're not the best person to serve everybody. So, our belief is that you should work with clients who you're 100% sure that you can help with, for roles that you're 100% sure that you can fill, and everyone else you should pass you should pass on, quite frankly. So before we talk about the fee, we want to have a conversation with the client to make sure you can actually help them and you're the right person to help. Terry, anything you'd add to that?
Yeah, so I know it sounds obvious at one level, but let's say you talk to a hiring manager and say, yeah, we're recruiting at the moment, and you get talking to them and you recruit, let's say you recruit salespeople, but they're actually looking for IT professionals, but your speciality is around sales. I'm going to say that's probably not the right client for you. Now, I know some recruiters say, well, recruitment is recruitment, and whether it's sales or IT, but if your expertise is in a different niche, your fees are now irrelevant, because you can say, oh, hell, our fees are 5% of the final salary, and we're experts in IT, but you're looking for a salesperson. Let's see what we can do. Really? So as Drew said, it's got to be the right client for you and in the area that you are operating. I know it kind of sounds obvious, but there are, as you're probably well aware, there are some recruiters out there that are so desperate for business that, the moment the hiring manager suggests there's a hint of some business there, whatever the role is or whatever the salary, some recruiters will go, yeah, we can do that. And it kind of smacks of desperation as well. So the fact, can you help? And I think the second one is, make sure you actually want to work with that client in that organization in that particular role. So do you actually want to work with this particular client? And I know we've said it already, but I'll say it again. Not all clients are created equal, and they can't be. And there's only a select few clients that are going to be right for you. So you have to decide, is this the type of client I want to work with? Is this the type of client I want to help? Is this the type of client I want to put my candidates that I've got this great relationship with in front of? Because you get that wrong, that's going to reflect badly on you further down the line. We've all been there, and I'm as guilty as anybody else as a former recruiter. When you put candidates into roles, upon reflection, it probably wasn't the best thing I've ever done. I've put some candidates in the wrong role, but focusing on the wrong thing. If it's not right for the client, it's not right for the candidate, and it's not right for you as a recruiter, then I think it's fair to say that you can't help them.
Yeah, 100%. I think sometimes when you're growing a business and you've got, big ambitions and big targets that you want to hit, you can sometimes lose sight of that. And you can sometimes end up making decisions just for the money. And obviously, don't get me wrong, the money is very, very important. Obviously, that's the reason, one of the key reasons why you set up in business on your own. But again, I think what you see a lot of people do is they're working. And again, I think everyone's probably been there at some point or another. So this isn't to criticize anybody or to criticize you if you feel like you're here now. But we work with clients who don't really enjoy working with because we're attached to the money. So again, as much as clients are, as much as in your business development, like you're trying to impress clients and show what you can do, we also need to have a filtration system where we're filtering out clients that we're not meant to work with or we don't want to work with. That could be for any number of reasons. But I think we need to be clear on that before we even talk about fees, because otherwise, what's the point? Again, Terry said right at the beginning, the fees are relevant. If, one, you can't help them, and two, you don't actually want to help them, what's the point in talking about fees? And number three, we need to be sure that the hiring manager or the business or the organization actually wants your help, right? They actually want your help. And again, it seems like obvious, but when you have a sales meeting with a prospect, you'll walk them through your framework or your script, whatever you happen to use. You talk about your organization, how you can help them, how it works. We use something that we call a temp check to check in with the hiring manager, based on what this, for example, based on what said so far, does this sound like something, a service that you would be interested in? If the answer is no, again, there's no point talking about your fee. We only want to be talking about your fee when we know it's something that they want, right? That's the only real way they're going to value you as a service provider, if they actually want what you have to offer. The only way you're going to get the fee you want, if we can make sure that before we start talking about fees, we've got them sold on the service, we've got them sold on you, and we've got them sold on the value that you can bring to the table. Terry, does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense, yeah. Absolutely. I've got nothing to add to that, Drew. You've kind of covered it all there in terms of make sure that they want your help. And the final one is you've got to make sure that they recognize the value they get in exchange. And it's one of the things that Drew talked about earlier now about if you just do it on the fee, they see you as a commodity. But if they see you as the expert and they value your expertise and what they're getting in exchange, that's the type of clients you want to work with. You know, and you know, and we all know there are price buys out there, and whatever fee you offer, if somebody else comes along and offers it a lower fee, they're going to get the business. But they're price buyers. I mean, the good news is it's a small percentage of the market, but the majority of hiring managers, as I said earlier, price is the fourth most important thing. One thing they really value is the relationship and also your expertise as well. And they're the type of clients that you want to be working with, where it's about your knowledge, your expertise, and the relationship you have with them or with your candidates. That's what you want them to. You want to recognize that you want to acknowledge that that's what they value, rather than, oh, you're a couple of percent cheaper than somebody else. And just to sort of, I guess, round up on that, there is this perception that everybody buys on price, and intellectually, if you think about it, you know that's not the truth. You don't live in the cheapest house or drive the cheapest car. You don't go to the cheapest restaurant. It isn't true that people buy on price alone. There is a percentage of people that do. The majority of people don't, and that's who you need to be targeting in your conversation. The people that get the value and what you offer.
Yeah, 100%. I think, you know, we have a saying that, you know, without contrast, everything seems expensive or cheap. So we said right at the beginning that if we don't control, I guess, what the hiring manager is focusing on, all they've got left to do is compare your fee compared to what they used to be paying or what your competitor is offering. And if, as I said before, if your biggest selling point isn't the fee, and actually you value yourself and you want to get higher fees, and we need to sort of move away from that. Instead of them, you know, comparing your fee to recruiter B or your competitor, we want to anchor the fee that they're paying you to the value they're going to get in exchange. Because then, instead of comparing your fee compared to, you know, what they could be paying elsewhere, they're comparing your fee to what they're going to, the return on investment, what they're going to get in return. And I think if you ignore that, if you ever found yourself in a position where you're having to reduce fees to win business, or, you know, you're not quite getting the fee you want, 9 times out of 10 it's for that reason. It's because we haven't been able to accurately, in a sales conversation, been able to accurately demonstrate the value that they can get in return. So a lot of our clients were able to get substantially higher fees than their competitors, even if they're all pitching for the same role, on exclusive terms or on retained terms, not because they're better recruiters. I think people get this misconception that, you know, like being a good recruiter wins you the business, or having more experience wins you the business. And again, those things are important, but those things are more about delivery. There's no real way to know who the best recruiter is, or who's a better recruiter, you or your competitor, until after the sale has been made, right? Because the only way to know is to actually test and use the service, right? So everyone thinks they're the best recruiter, and I believe that you should believe that about your own service. You should believe that you're the best person to serve your clients. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. But the truth is, we don't know. What's going to have an impact on your performance in terms of your sales is not how good you are as a recruiter, not how much experience you've got, but your ability to demonstrate the value that you bring in relation to your fee. Because all of a sudden, if you're going to charge 25%, 30%, whatever, 33%, doesn't matter. But instead of looking at your fee compared to recruiter B, I'm looking at your fee compared to, actually, this is what I'm going to get in return. I'm going to get this grade candidate who's going to come in and hit these numbers, help me finish these projects on time. Again, your fee becomes irrelevant. Is there anything you'd add to that?
No, you summed it up really well. Yeah, they really hit the nail on the head. And to repeat, it's about the value you're going to provide to your hiring manager, and ultimately that's what they're paying for. There's a saying, isn't there? I think this is Peter Thompson that says this. Money's silent applause for a job well done. Yeah, to repeat, money's silent applause for a job well done. That's what it's all about.
Awesome. So
excellent.
Perfect. Let's round up then. I just wanted to hit you with a quick one today. It's first time we've been able to go live directly into the group. We've been I haven't been working the last couple of weeks, but if you enjoyed this and you're a recruitment or search persona and you want to work with more high quality clients, make more placements and increase your business profits, if you go to makemoreplacements.com/apply, that's makemoreplacements.com/apply. There's a short letter there about how we work and how we might be able to help. So go to there, have a read of that, And if it's something that interests you, then feel free to reach out. That's makemoreplacements.com/apply.
Excellent. And so just to repeat, we're here every Wednesday at 1500 UK time. And if you want to send us a message directly to ask us any questions, any challenge you're facing in your business, please feel free to do that. Let's repeat, we're here every Wednesday. We'll give you free training to help you get more business, how to help you increase your personal earnings and create the business of your dreams. So look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, folks, take care, take action, and be relentless.